The NBA draft is where dreams become reality, but for some players, it's also where their toughest battles begin. Fans remember the jaw-dropping highlights, sold-out arenas, and life-changing contracts, yet the most devastating chapters often happen far from the spotlight. Behind the fame, several NBA stars saw their lives unravel through personal tragedy, financial disaster, and substance dependency. Today, we're taking a closer look at the players who went from the top of the basketball world to rock bottom, proving that success on the court doesn't always guarantee stability off it. Mookie Blaylock. Mookie Blaylock was a highly respected premier defensive guard in the NBA, earning an all-star selection, making 6 consecutive all-defensive teams, and banking an impressive $31 million over a stellar 13-season career, spent primarily with the Atlanta Hawks and New Jersey Nets. Blaylock was so culturally prominent during the 1990s that the legendary rock band Pearl Jam originally named themselves Mookie Blaylock in his honor. However, his retirement years were deeply marred by severe personal struggles, severe substance dependency, and an utter lack of financial management that systematically erased his life savings. The gradual draining of his multi-million-dollar accounts culminated in a horrific, high-profile tragedy that completely shattered his remaining assets. In May 2013, Blaylock was driving a luxury vehicle in Clayton County, Georgia, when he suffered a sudden medical emergency related to severe chronic alcoholism, causing his vehicle to cross the median and slam head-on into an oncoming car. The violent collision resulted in the tragic death of a mother of 5 and left Blaylock facing severe criminal charges. The ensuing legal nightmare completely devastated his remaining financial reserves. Blaylock was forced to expend millions on top-tier criminal defense attorneys, massive civil wrongful death settlements, and ongoing medical care. In 2014, he pleaded guilty to vehicular homicide and was sentenced to a lengthy prison term. The absolute destruction of his public reputation, combined with the forced liquidation of his properties and assets to cover the massive civil court judgments, left the former defensive mastermind completely broke. Christian Welp. Christian Welp was a towering, highly decorated 7-foot German center who became an absolute legend at the University of Washington, setting the school's all-time scoring record before being drafted in the first round of the 1987 NBA draft by the Philadelphia 76ers. Welp played several productive seasons in the NBA, collecting millions in player salary before moving back to Europe, where he won an EuroLeague championship and secured highly lucrative international contracts. Welp was widely considered to be a stable, intelligent athlete who avoided the standard cliques of nightclub partying and lavish spending. Yet, his post-retirement years were ruined by a catastrophic, unhedged bet on the American commercial real estate sector. Welp concentrated his entire multi-million-dollar basketball nest egg into a series of highly leveraged commercial land developments and real estate investment trusts in the Pacific Northwest. When the global economic recession struck, credit markets froze instantly, and his properties lost their tenants and plummeted in value. Because Welp had signed personal loan guarantees to secure the commercial mortgages, private lenders moved aggressively against his personal banking accounts and liquid savings. The intense financial stress completely decimated his retirement security, completely erasing a lifetime of basketball earnings. Tragically, while struggling under the crushing, unmanageable weight of total financial ruin and trying to rebuild his life through low-paying coaching gigs, Welp suffered a sudden, fatal heart attack in 2015 at the age of 51, leaving a legacy severely fractured by financial devastation. David Harrison. David Harrison was a dominant, hyper-athletic 7-foot center who was selected in the first round of the 2004 NBA draft by the Indiana Pacers, quickly securing a lucrative rookie contract and banking over $4.4 million in career salary during his time in the league. However, Harrison's professional basketball career abruptly fell apart due to severe injuries and his involvement in the infamous Malice at the Palace brawl, which severely impacted his future earning potential. Once he found himself out of the league at a very young age, Harrison's absolute lack of baseline financial literacy and an ongoing cycle of unchecked lifestyle spending caused his millions to completely vanish with terrifying speed. Harrison spent his rookie wealth recklessly on high-end electronics, luxury sports cars, and funding a large social circle. assuming his NBA career would last for a decade. Without a recurring professional paycheck, his cash reserves were completely depleted within just a few years of his final game. By 2015, Harrison's financial situation had grown so completely desperate that his story made national headlines when it was revealed he was working the late-night shift at a local McDonald's fast food restaurant just to buy diapers and food for his children. Harrison openly admitted to the media that he had lost every single dollar of his NBA fortune, his luxury vehicles had been repossessed, and his home had been lost to foreclosure, showing how quickly an elite first-round draft pick can fall into absolute poverty without guidance. Keon Clark. Keon Clark was a highly talented, explosive center who was selected 13th overall in the 1998 NBA draft, enjoying a highly lucrative 6-season NBA career, where he earned over $15 million in salary playing for the Sacramento Kings and Toronto Raptors. Clark possessed immense on-court potential, but his professional basketball career and multi-million-dollar fortune were completely destroyed by a severe, unmanaged battle with chronic alcoholism and drug dependency that began before he even entered the league. His lifestyle spending was entirely dictated by his addiction, leading to an absolute financial wipeout. Clark later admitted that he was never sober during his NBA career, routinely drinking heavily at halftime and spending tens of thousands of dollars a week to fund massive, dangerous drug habits and party lifestyles. He maintained a large entourage of enablers, purchasing multiple luxury sports cars, throwing lavish parties, and neglecting basic financial oversight. Once his addiction forced him out of the league in 2004, his multi-million-dollar accounts were rapidly emptied by ongoing drug expenses, legal fees, and multiple arrests. By 2013, Clark's financial and personal life hit a complete rock bottom when he was sentenced to 7 years in prison on weapons and narcotics charges. He stood before a judge completely broke, revealing that his entire $15 million NBA fortune had been entirely vaporized by his unchecked substance habits, leaving him penniless. Corey Blount. Corey Blount was a reliable, hard-nosed journeyman power forward who carved out an admirable 11-year NBA career, playing for elite teams like the Chicago Bulls and Los Angeles Lakers, while quietly banking over $14 million in career salary. But just a few years after his retirement, Blount's financial life suffered a sudden, absolute destruction following a massive federal drug bust that completely wiped out his remaining assets and landing him behind bars. Blount's downfall occurred in December 2008, when federal narcotics agents intercepted a series of packages containing a massive 11 pounds of high-grade marijuana shipped directly to his residence in Ohio. A subsequent raid on his luxury home uncovered additional contraband, large stashes of weapons, and thousands of dollars in loose cash, pointing directly to a large-scale distribution operation. Blount claimed the massive quantity of narcotics was strictly for personal use and for sharing with close friends, but the court was entirely unforgiving. The ensuing legal nightmare completely drained his remaining multi-million-dollar bank accounts to pay for top-tier defense attorneys and heavy court fines. In 2009, Blount was sentenced to a year in prison. The combination of losing his assets to federal asset forfeiture laws, the complete destruction of his professional reputation, and the total drain of his liquid wealth left him completely broke upon his release, forcing him to start his entire life over from scratch. When the stadium lights dim, the reality of the business world often moves faster than the players who once dominated the court. These downfalls prove that without a strong foundation and a clear vision for life after basketball, even the most impressive resumes can end in tragedy. Which of these extreme financial drops did you find the most surprising? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you found this deep dive valuable, and make sure to subscribe so you're locked in for our next breakdown.